Hello, everyone. This transport fighters that were in that sea zone are carried for intake. These fighters and floating down to Japan, landing in West Europe.
Hello, this is Field Marshall Hermann coming you with a battle report for the third round of the E40 Indoman Wars. And we have some very unpleasant news all around. Our performance has been lacking in Africa. The British took out the remaining Luftwaffe there, and we are very disappointed in our pilots. We thought more highly of them than to be taken out by puny British land forces and a singular bomber. Our planes could not take out a bomber even. What a disgrace. In other news, we have all but lost hope for Operation Sea Lion because the Americans brought their disgusting, dogmatic Democrat bombers over to bomb us in the season 109. And we lost all of our surface warships there. This is unacceptable, and they will pay for their treachery in due time. Other than that, we are looking quite healthy. Our economy is good, and we are not at war with the Russians. And we plan to keep it that way. May the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact live eternal. We have good friendships with them, and we are buying the oil from them continuously, and the food, and they are prospering off the neutrality as well. We shall see how long the Ally keeps this tolerance and the lasting peace. In other news, in the Pacific, the Empire of Japan has gone too far. They have declared unprovoked war on all of the Allied powers, bringing the Americans into the war, and the Americans in turn declared war on us. This is not our war to fight. Japan should have kept the war to themselves, but no. They had to go and spread their radicalist ideals all over the world. They could not hold it in for one bit. On top of this, they failed some of the most important battles that they had planned, such as the Battle of the coast of India, and they could not even take Hong Kong from two puny British divisions. This is such a disgrace. Japan, you will pay for your treachery. Once we get to the borders that we share, your fate will be that of the French, and you will fall, and you will pay for the treachery you have committed against the Reich. Other than this, the Axis are doing quite well. Italy has suffered greatly, losing all of her ships in the Mediterranean, but she has two beautiful new bombers. We are excited to see what havoc they can wreak on the Allied forces. So the scary things that are happening, the Americans have quite a large fleet here, and they are doing the copy of the Germans, building the heavy tanks. The armored divisions belong to the Germans, America. Do you not know this? What are you doing with the heavy tanks? Well, hopefully the lack of experience will prove that they do not know how to use them properly. I doubt that they will get to the mainland anyway, so we are not too worried about it. I believe that is all of the recap for round 3. No other big developments have happened. Again, Japan declared war on all of the allies, and because of this, America stupidly has declared war on the Germans, and they will pay in their due time. One other thing that I will mention is that the border has come to a stalemate between the Russians and the Japanese. They are both massing huge forces on the front line, but neither is willing to attack the other, as both have defensive advantages. We shall see how that develops as well as the rest of the world. Alright, comrades. This is General Hermann signing off. I hope you enjoyed the recap. and we will strike our enemies with unrelenting force, and they will learn not to mess with the Third Reich.
Hello chaps, Corporal Lancaster here, coming to you with today's world news. We just ended round 3 of the 3rd year of the global war, and it truly is a global war indeed now. Let's start off with our rivals across the way, the Germans. What did they do? Well, they landed in Scotland last year, and the Scots hardly defended themselves and ceded immediately. A pathetic performance, if you ask me. We're going to have to avenge them at some point in the future. However, our ground forces are ill-prepared for an offensive. The Germans have dug in quite nicely and are ready to defend. The Italians have continued to take chunks of Africa, but we successfully pushed the German Luftwaffe and the Italian ground divisions out of Sudan. We've kept this Halifax bomber since the beginning of the war, and it has proved very useful so far. Hopefully, we get to keep it until the end, and continue to use it in functional offensives. The Slavs have ceded full control to the Germans, not only letting them take control of the economy, but now the industry, letting the Germans use all of their factories. What a disgrace. True, this is not a time of neutrality for any nation. In big news, the Americans joined the war after the Japanese declared unprovoked attacks against their fleets in the Philippine Sea and sunk transport ships off of Guam. This is good news for us, as they will prove a reliable ally in the seas. They already have, with this huge fleet in Sea Zone 101 off the coast of Washington, and another massive fleet off the coast of Guam, with a reliably large air force. The Japanese will not have a fun time dealing with these American fleets, and we say good on them. The Japanese have also almost completed their full invasion of China. Communist China has already fallen, and the nationalists are soon to join them. The Japanese did also come in and take Burma from our Indian allies. They were quick to take it back, at no loss at all, though they must wait and resupply with weapons and equipment before they can strike again. The Japanese do have a sizable carrier fleet off of the Mani Islands and the coast of India. This is quite frightening, as our battleship has just been repaired, but it is still quite alone. The only reinforcements it could possibly have are a few Spitfires to scramble to its aid. I do not believe it can withstand the force of the entire Japanese fleet. Anzac has been very wise in the development of the Pacific. They took the Celebes and they built and dug out an airstrip there. So now their planes have access to a majority of the surrounding area. This will prove quite useful when taking out the Japanese ships. Though we have to be careful, as they have developed a new kamikaze tactics and are willing to sacrifice their lives in order to take those of our own men. Russia and Germany have also kept seemingly peaceful with each other. We shall see how long that will last. Russia has been developing quite the tension towards the Axis, because Japan has been continuing to push into the Siberian region. We shall see if Russia decides to take this out on Germany, or if they both decide to keep the peace and prosperous foreign trade. Well, that's all, men. Colonel Lancaster signing off for now.